This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio, and it is January 14th, so it is the first episode we're having for here 2021. I'm in the United States, so if you've been watching the headlines, we've had a lot of crazy stuff going on in the past week. So needless to say, I think we are ready for a little bit of calm, just for a little bit, maybe 45 minutes of escapism, talking about some wonderful books. And just so you know, it's Dress Up Your Pet Day here in the United States. It's also Organize Your Home Day. So you may be able to organize your home well by getting rid of the dress-up clothes or organizing the dress-up clothes that you have for your pets, because I honestly tried to dress up my dog one time, and she was really, really, really unimpressed with the possibility, and I ended up giving the clothes away to a very good friend of mine, Sasha Summers, who has a very cute dog. So if you look on her Facebook and Twitter, she has her little cutie there, and so if you see her all dressed up, those are outfits that I organized by giving them to her. Anyway, so that is what's going on here. Very fun. We have our author today is Kate O'Keefe, who will be here shortly. She is calling from New Zealand, so it took a little bit of coordination to make sure I had the right time with her, so that's going to be cool. And also, she has a new book out, and we'll talk about all sorts of cool, fun stuff. So I hope everyone has started off the year well and has got all sorts of fabulous things planned. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here with Kate. Kate is an award-winning, best-selling author of fun, feel-good chick lit and romantic comedies. She lives and loves in beautiful Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, with her family, 2 scruffy dogs, and a cat who thinks he's a scruffy dog too, but he's not. He's a cat. And when she's not penning her latest story, Kate can be found hiking up hills, traveling to different countries around the globe back when she used to be able to do that, and eating chocolate. Love that. It's always a good idea to eat chocolate. And right now, Kate is working on a spin-off story from the Love Manor romantic comedy series entitled Every English Love Story. It's Phoebe's story, one of the contestants from the Dating Mr. Darcy reality TV show. The box set is called Love in the City, and it's an anthology of 13 fabulous rom-coms, and it's on pre-order, and I have the link in the write-up of the show. You can find Kate O'Keefe at her website, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, BookBub, Goodreads, and Amazon. All those links are in the write-up of the show. Welcome, Kate. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Patricia.
You know, I was sitting there, and I think I probably double-checked, triple-checked, quadruple-checked my time. I had the World Clock app open, and I kept making sure, we were coordinating correctly, because it's the making sure it's time that, like, we're both awake at the times we're going to talk. One of us is not trying to talk at 3 o'clock in the morning, so that's always a good plan.
Yes, I actually agree with that.
So it is summertime in the Southern Hemisphere, correct?
It sure is. It's where we live in Hawke's Bay. It's very warm. It's the fruit bowl of New Zealand. Probably a little bit like Southern California. So we have beautiful, warm, sunny weather. We spend a lot of time at the beach, and we're lucky enough to have a pool, and that's currently, I was going to say 28 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's pretty warm. It feels a bit like a bath. Right. Yeah, it's school vacation at the moment. So lots of kids around playing, having a great time. It's nice.
So what is so in the United States, summertime falls in like June, July, August. So yours is January, February, March? Is that how it falls? Or is it December, January? How does y'all's fall?
It's December, January, February officially,
Okay.
But really the warmer weather is January, February, March. So the kids all go back to school in February, and that's when it hits like 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's not very well.
Yeah.
It's not very well planned, but
yeah, it's. I always thought it would make more sense to not have school. I mean, to have school in August because it is so hot. a lot of places, and so they're inside anyway. And then maybe let them get out earlier in the year, like May, June, July. But I'm not on school board, so I can't make that decision. So what is right? What is the? I mean, is summertime there? I mean, I know a lot of places have it, but is this like a big reading time? Is this? Do a lot of people are out and about reading? Is it more getting out and moving? I mean, what's kind of your typical summer?
For me personally?
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, I do a lot more reading when I can. I am a voracious reader, so unsurprisingly, considering when I do. So I do love to just, find a cool spot in the garden somewhere and sit back and read. I do really love to do that. Of course, if family means that you don't necessarily get to do that, but we do go. We've just been away, actually, as a family with another set of really good friends. We're incredibly lucky in New Zealand right now that we don't have COVID in the country, other than at the border. So we're extremely blessed and very lucky, and so we've been able to live relatively normal lives for the last, I guess we came out of lockdown back in April. So we've been very lucky with that. So we've been up to the very north of the country to a place called the Bay of Islands, which is absolutely stunning. It's where it's the birthplace of our nation, where there was a treaty signed up in the north of the North Island, in a place called Waitangi. And we've just been up there, and it's got beautiful golden sand beaches. We went on a helicopter trip. We did, there's these huge sand dunes. You can get your bodyboard and go sliding down. We just had a whale of a summer. It's been fantastic. So I didn't read a lot when we were doing that. I just got into bed at night and read a few pages before I completely passed out from all the activity. But it's been that's what we do, and that's what I do in summer. I tend to do some activity as well as loving to read, and when I can, I write. It's a little bit trickier for me to write over this time, but because I don't get the mental space so much because people are around, and we have a lot of visitors here where we live. But it sounds very similar. You keep busy, and it's hard to write with the kids home, and you try. But I'm so thrilled that you guys are able to get out and about and move around. I mean, that's a wonderful thing, to be able to kind of get back to business as usual in a lot of ways. And during that time, I have family. I'm sorry. I was
Go ahead.
I have family in California, and they've been obviously in lockdown or in shelter in place for quite some time now, off and on. And I'm very aware when I post photos of what we're doing that they'll be looking at this going, gosh, that would be nice. And I'm very aware that we're in that position right now. I'm also, as most New Zealanders, very aware that it could change on a dime. So we need to enjoy it while we have it and be careful as well. So we'll do it now, right?
Right. I mean, I think that also it's very interesting now because when I'm watching different shows, obviously things have been out for a while and had no COVID effect at all. You sit there and go, oh, where are the masks? Oh, that's right. There's no need for masks at this particular thing. So things have definitely changed. It's definitely a perception is definitely there. So we'll see how this all plays out in the coming months and years to come, and hopefully things will take a very positive spin in the next
I'm really
months.
hopeful for that too. Absolutely.
Yeah. But during that time, during the last several months, you have been wonderfully productive with your writing because you have new releases. So let's start with that. So tell me about your newest release.
I have one coming out as part of a box set in February, and that is with a bunch of some of my favorite authors of romantic comedy. So that's with Becky Monson and Whitney Deneen and Jennifer Peel, among many others. Melissa Baldwin, who I've co-written a book with already. Yes, so we're writing novellas, and it's called Love in the City, and it's a collection of 13 authors, and we've all written novellas, but it all has to centre around a city. So, in fact, as I was writing this, I based mine in London, where I lived for a very long time when I was young. As I wrote it, I was thinking, gosh, this could not happen right now, because they were off, doing all the tourist things and hopping on and off a double-decker bus and going on the London Eye, and that just wouldn't happen right now. But I've made the conscious choice not to include anything around the pandemic in my writing at the moment. So that might change in the future, but for now, that's where I'm at. But so it's been really fun to write this. I wrote a book I released back in August called Dating Mr. Darcy, and that's the first book in a series that's based around let me start again. It's Pride and Prejudice meets The Bachelor is the way I describe it. So it's a reality TV show with someone who's posing as Mr. Darcy, and my heroine, Emma, goes on the show as a contestant. And that's the basis for a 3-book series and then a spin-off series as well. So the book I've just written, the novella I've just written for the Love in the City box set, is one of the contestants' stories, and her name is Phoebe, and she's an interesting character, and I hadn't intended to write her story, but several author friends asked me whether I would, and I've had great response from readers as well, saying yes, they would love to read that. So that's what's going into the Love in the City box set, and I'm really excited about it. I loved writing it.
Well, I mean, I think isn't it fun when your readers reach out to you and say, but what about this character? What's their story?
I know, even you might not necessarily have considered them at all.
Right. Yeah. I've had that. It's like, well, what about so-and-so? I'm like, I don't know. And they said, well, you got to fix it. I'm like, what?
Well, in this instance, Phoebe is an incredibly sweet and lovely person. So when I had people say, what about writing Phoebe's story? I thought, well, she doesn't have an edge to her. There's no interest to her. But then I realized, actually, maybe she could be incredibly sweet and nice, and there are other layers to her. And maybe she's incredibly nice to everybody because of a backstory. So I put that into the Love in the City story that I've written for Phoebe. So I've given her a lot more depth, I guess, than I did in Dating Mr. Darcy. Okay.
Well, I mean, do you do all your books indie, or are you through a publisher, or is it a mix?
Yes.
Okay.
I am proud to say that I'm 100% indie, and I have had conversations with publishers and have decided to continue to go down that route. So to start, I went indie to start with. It was actually my husband's idea, and he'd read an article about independent publishing back in 2014, and then as I gained some success, I was approached, and I made the call that this is the right thing for me. It works for me. I do love being in control of the whole process, and there's a wonderful community of authors, as you will well know, that are, that's one of the amazing things I think about being a writer. I know some writers have had some negative experiences with other authors. Personally, I never have. I've just had incredible support, and I feel really blessed and lucky that I have that. And so I just find that I can get so much advice. If I have any questions, I can drop into one of my groups that I'm in, one of my author groups, and ask a question, and I'll have 20 answers within an hour. And I think that has helped my career so much.
Oh, for sure. And I think, too, you have to, I mean, not everybody can do indie. I mean, there's some that are really good and focused and organized, and there's others that are like, I really need that publisher to say, where are you? I need this, a deadline. And then there's people who can, hybrid. So there's definitely a space for everyone, but definitely we all need to just do the work as well, which is a lot, even with a publisher.
I absolutely agree with you. I'm very much a type A personality, and I'm very driven. So for me, I don't need someone cracking the whip. But occasionally I do, maybe over summer. It's a little bit trickier. But that works for me. I think if I had a publisher breathing down my neck, yes, I think I would end up writing into the wee hours and get it done. But I do like that control. And one of my past jobs, I've had a number of my most recent job was teaching, but before that I actually worked in sales, and I had to manage my portfolio of customers and reach certain goals, the way sales works. And I think that's really helped me with the business side of it, because there's two sides to being a writer, an independent writer, of course. There's the craft side, and then there's actually running it as a business.
Yes. Well, and I think there was somebody talking. Yeah, I think I was mentioning something to someone today online that they were saying they were having trouble promoting themselves, and in the gist of it was that she was having trouble just telling everybody. It was for a podcast, and she was saying, how do I get people to know I'm there and build? And it's like, just promote yourself. Just reach out to your friends and family at first, and then tell them to share it. And I think we all have trouble, even if no matter how we get our books to the shelves or the e-readers, have trouble saying, and here's my book. We're great at promoting friends. We're great at promoting other authors. We're just not as solid at promoting ourselves.
I absolutely agree with that, and it's one of the tricky things, because when you do have a creative pursuit, you feel like you're putting part of yourself out there to be judged, I guess. And I remember with my first book, I read every review. I labored over every word anybody wrote in a review, and I guess I became a bit obsessed with it, and it really slowed me down with what I was doing next, because people have so many different opinions. And somebody once said to me, I think it was Becky Monson actually, said to me years ago, when I have a bad review, I go and read the reviews for my favorite books. And one of my favorite books is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, which is why I wrote the Mr. Darcy character. He's one of my favorite characters of all time, as he is with many, many readers. And a lot of people love Pride and Prejudice. A lot of people hate Pride and Prejudice. So you can't please everybody. So I think getting back to your original point, I think yes, it is harder to do that, and I think you just got to for me, it was metaphorically shutting my eyes and just putting myself out there in a way that I never really had before. As New Zealanders, we have this thing called tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand. I don't know whether you know what that means.
I don't. But I want to know though.
Tall poppies. Okay. Tall poppies is like you can't be too good at something. People will be negative about you if you're too good at something. And New Zealand is a very friendly, lovely people, generally speaking, but there is this concept in our country that I don't think Americans have. So I think it's doubly hard for a New Zealander, and probably a British person as well, because a lot of us have come from Britain, to actually really put ourselves out there. And it's something I've learned from my American author friends, that they are much better at self-promotion than I have been in the past. Now I don't care. I'm like 18 books in, and I'm like, let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Put myself out there and go for it. Yeah.
Well, for
but
sure.
It took me a few books, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and, I think, too, when I had my first book out, I was just thinking, and you do get in the mindset that you really, really, really love this book, so everyone else is going to really, really, really love this book. And I think the first review I got that was not favorable, I was just devastated for, I think, a week. And then I decided I just wasn't going to look at reviews at all, which isn't really realistic. But I paced myself, so I just wouldn't look at them for months, and then I could go back and skim and go, okay, whatever. We can learn stuff from bad reviews. If something keeps coming up, it would be something. But yeah, you're right. It's just you just can't please everybody at all. And so you just have to know that going in.
No. You're absolutely right, though, that you can learn from reviews. And also I found in some of my reviews that writers have said, I really want to read X's story. I don't want to read anything more about Y, etc. So I still read reviews, but they just don't bother me the way they used to if they're not positive. Right. And I just want to put it out there that most of my reviews are really positive, as I'm sure yours are as well. But you do get some. Like I got one not that long ago that said, she titled it "Ugh," and I was like, oh no, this isn't going to be a good review.
Right.
I just thought, okay, that's your opinion. She wasn't being nasty. She just couldn't connect with the characters. She didn't read the whole story. But yeah, that's fine. I can't please everybody, and I know that, just as you do.
Right. Well, and two, for anybody who's listening, do not tag an author with a bad review. It's rude. But also, authors, do not tag the reviewer in response to a review. There was a discussion on Twitter that somebody was saying that she had written a review, and then the author actually reached out to her to argue the review. And I just thought, man, that's just not. No. Let's move on.
I've never responded. Like, I've responded in my head to people, but I've never actually responded to a review. And I haven't even said, well, thank you for your opinion. I just say nothing, because I think if you engage, you're inviting them to offer more of what they've already said, and in a public forum. So I just think it's not good for anybody.
Right. Well, and I think too, there have been some times that I think it was on BookBub, and I felt like I needed to respond in the sense of just saying thank you for reading it, and I think I said something to basically that of thank you so much for reading and posting, appreciate your input, and that's all I said, and got very, I don't think I got a response, which is fine because I wasn't expecting one. And even then I might have been pushing it. But I think that we take our craft very seriously. So, you expect the same professionalism from others. Tara West is a friend of mine, and she actually had a book out, and she was laughing about it because this woman gave her a 1-star review because there was too much sex in the book. And she actually used that review as one of her, what was it? As like one of her ads. So she said, she said
the reviewer never expected that, right?
Right. No, she didn't. And it was, don't buy this book. It has too much sex. And she sold like so many copies of her book. She actually
I love that. That's
screenshot it and said too much sex in this book, 1 star, and just like people couldn't download it fast enough. It was tremendous. I guess lemons out of lemonade, I guess. It's very clever.
No, I think that's fantastic. Well done. Very clever. Absolutely.
Well, I do want to go back and say to everyone listening that Love in the City limited edition romantic comedy box set that's out February 16th is 99 cents on pre-order right now. So if you pre-order it, it's only 99 cents. But once it goes live, what's the price going to be?
The price will be $2.99 after that.
Okay. So just think, you could buy 2 more ebooks. If you buy this now, and then you wouldn't spend $3, you'd only spend $1. You have money left over for more books.
Well, the other thing is that it has 13 novellas from well-known rom-com authors. So it's a real bargain. I bought it myself.
Yes.
Because, of course, I've only read my book.
And how did this project come to happen?
It's actually a project that's been run by Jennifer Peel and Becky Monson, and they reached out to various authors, and I was honoured to be one of those authors. And so that's really, it's their project, and I'm just tagging along for the fun. And
Yeah.
It's wonderful to have these kinds of projects where you can tap into one another's readership, because we all write similar stories. Some are more romance, some are more chick lit, but they're all really under the umbrella of romantic comedy. So
Right.
I often buy an anthology or a box set of different authors, because I might love one or two of the authors in the anthology, but I don't know the others, and I end up becoming fans of the other authors. So I think it's positive for both the writers as well as readers as well.
Oh, for sure. I mean, finding new authors is one of my favorite things, or new to me authors. And this is just a really great way to do it. It's definitely through anthologies. That's a wonderful idea, a wonderful point. So you've got the box set. You've got your newest release for the Darcy. You've got Dating Mr. Darcy. You've got Marrying Mr. Darcy. And then there's and then you have on pre-order Falling for Another Darcy is out. Will be out. When is that?
That's coming out in late May. So that's the project that I'm working on right now. And that's as you can tell, the third book in the series. It's called the Love Manor Romantic Comedy Series. And this centers around the characters that I mentioned earlier. The man who poses as Mr. Darcy for the reality TV show. His name is Sebastian. And his love interest is Emma. And they meet on Dating Mr. Darcy. And then the second book follows their story, and the third book does. So it's just going to be 3 books, but I do, as I mentioned, have a spin-off series as well that will eventuate over the next year or so. I just need to write the books, Patricia.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, so these 3 books that you're doing with Darcy, these are the same people, the same couple, correct?
They are the same couple, yes. So Sebastian and Emma feature in each of the stories, yes.
Okay. And then the next series, would it feature another woman in the first book from that, or are you going completely somewhere else with that? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so I've got 3 more books planned in a spin-off. They will be the girls of Love Manor, I think. I don't know quite what the series name will be, but the first one will be Phoebe's story once it's out of the anthology. So the anthology, we're going to keep the stories together for a certain period of time and then pull them out. And then there are 2 other stories. There's another contestant from the show. Her name is Kennedy Bennett. And then finally there's Sebastian's sister. So her name is Zara, and she is going to have her own story as well. So they appear in the books. There may be another character. I've actually had readers ask for other contestants from the first book. The first book has been really successful for me. And I absolutely loved writing it. The concept for a dating show with Mr. Darcy as the Bachelor just came to me one day, and I thought, wow, I really want to write that book one day. And that was probably 18 months, 2 years ago. And finally, actually, when we were in lockdown, the whole country, all of New Zealand was in lockdown, my son he was 11 at the time, and he was doing homeschooling. So I was heavily involved in that, as you can imagine, but I found an hour or 2 every day to sit down, and the story just absolutely flowed for me, I think because I'd had it percolating away in my head for so long. And it was an amazing escape, really, from the horrors of what was going on around the world. And, so that's, getting back to your point, That's the series. That's the foundation series, I guess. So
I love it.
There are a lot of legs to this. If I do end up writing other contestants, I've got several contestants in there. I have some pretty mean ones as well, and I don't think I'll write their stories. I don't think they deserve to be exonerated. They're just too mean.
Well, Yeah, I think it depends on how they're presented, of course, and then are they redeemable, which is always the big question. But I mean, it's so much fun to come up with something like this because it seems like, oh, well, certainly somebody's done something like this about, and it's like, oh, they haven't, or even if they have, this is my take, and that's always just, I always just love everybody's idea of these different types of shows and how this plays out on the pages. So, well done. It looks
exactly.
It's fabulous.
And there are a lot of thank you. There are a lot of stories that are based on Pride and Prejudice. This isn't a rewrite of Pride and Prejudice. It's not possible to do that within the context of a dating show, I don't think. But there are certainly quite a few elements from Jane Austen's masterpiece in the story, and also in Marrying Mr. Darcy as well, and there also will be in Falling for Another Darcy.
Okay. Well, that is so cool. So outside of Darcy, what other projects do you have planned?
I have another series in my head as well, and so this is the first time with the Love Manor with the Love Manor romantic comedy series. This is the first time I have ever written the same couple in a series. I have I have another series called The Cozy Cottage Cafe, and that's a 4-book series based around 4 friends, and they all agree to a dating pact in the very first scene of the very first book. They're all sitting on a beach. They might have had a little bit too much Chardonnay, but they're all in their late 20s, and they decide that they've just had enough of dating the wrong kinds of guys, and they agree to a pact that the next guy they date, they will marry. So that means that they become very selective in who they choose. They stop dating widely and just really focus in on finding the one. And each book is a different friend's story. So we start with Cassie, and she's very driven and very focused on marrying one particular type of person. And all I'll say about that is that it's an adventure. So that is typically how I write my series. I will focus on maybe a friend group. It's usually a friend group, but it could be a family. And each book is a different story. So that's the formula I'm going back to for my next series, and that'll be based around a group of friends. It's in the very early stages of planning, simply because I've got a number of books around the Mr. Darcy concept that I'm plotting and planning right now. But it is something that I think will be fun to get to. I do really love writing these books, so I can't quite believe that I've made a career out of something I love to do.
Well, and it's always good to tell good stories. I mean, it's we always love to see how love happens, and who falls for whom and why, and seeing those things on the pages. I think, a lot of times we see family members or friends or different things on there as well, or even our own stories. And I think that escapism in that moment of, it does happen. People do fall in love and have a happily ever after. It doesn't mean everything's perfect. It just means, things worked out pretty well. So it sounds like that you will be staying plenty busy.
I think I will be, and I do love to give my characters a happy ending. I should say happily ever after. So I can have a different conversation. But it's you've got to have.
That's a different story. That's like the behind the curtain story.
And I don't write that type of story. I write light, funny, pretty clean romantic comedies. So we're not going there. But I give them all sorts of hurdles to overcome along the way, and so that it becomes, when they do finally find their HEA, happily ever after, that they really deserve it, and the reader is going, yes, we've got there. So, and I love writing those final chapters. I love writing when you have the big grand gesture, someone does something that makes you put your hand over your heart and go, oh, that's my favorite part of the book. Yeah.
At some point, I'm sure when you're writing, your characters take a life of their own, and it's almost like it starts to write itself.
Yes, I have had that, and that certainly happened with Dating Mr. Darcy. It just flew off the pages for me. Uh-huh. Sometimes I've had the odd character here or there that surprised me, and they try to take over the story, and if they're a minor character, I just really have to rein them in. And I'd been warned that could happen when I was a very new author, and I thought, no, that's ridiculous. But it absolutely happens, and it's quite an odd phenomenon, I think. But you've got to rein those characters in, because otherwise they will dominate, and maybe they just deserve another book. Maybe that's how they're telling you that they deserve their own book.
Right. Yeah, and there's times that I think when I first started writing, you go through a little bit of, I guess, adjustment to allow these things to happen. It's like, no, you're not having a breakdown. I mean, these characters are really telling you what they want. And so sometimes you just kind of have to listen to what they're telling you. And and I think once people realize that that's normal for writers, and not to worry about it.
No, because it's a very strange thing, and it's not something you expect at all. I certainly didn't expect it. But for me, it's usually the antagonists in a book. So the characters that I don't want the reader to like, and if they do like them, then they're very strange beings. Those are usually the ones that are jumping out at me going, write my story. And I made the mistake very early on of writing one of them. And I had readers say to me, because she just kept on calling out to me, and readers were saying, I don't know why you wrote this character.
Oh, wow.
Luckily, they did it relatively privately, but that was very early on, and I decided that if I'm going to write one of these antagonists again, I need to give them some redeeming features that the reader can see in the initial book, so that they can actually think, this is a complicated character rather than this is just a mean girl.
Sure. That balance is hard sometimes. But, I mean, have there been characters that you've found difficult to write because of how unkind they are?
No, I do like it. I like a really mean character.
Oh, okay.
I'm not an overly mean. I'm not an overly mean person myself, and I get on with most people. So maybe that's just a side of me that I like to tap into that I ordinarily wouldn't. I don't know, but I do. I like to make the mean characters quite mean, and then I have to rein them in a bit. That's what I usually do on my second or third draft. Is I'll rein them in, because I'm like, how realistic is this person? Could this person actually exist? But look, we've all been through high school, right? So yes, they do exist, but maybe.
And some
not
people
as,
never mentally
adults,
leave that. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess there's a reason why there are so many high school dramas as movies and books, and I think it's a time. It's like this big cesspool of just all these different characters and people. I think people are rawer when they're teenagers. I had a school reunion about 8 years ago now, and I remember going to it thinking, I wonder what people are going to be like now. And everybody was lovely, and I had the most wonderful time. And then I was thinking, gosh, people evolve.
They do. They do.
Which is a very good thing, and maybe everyone was on their best behavior. I don't know, but I had a lovely time.
Then that's possible too. They very much could have been. I think that there are definitely people who change, but we all, like with PTA, Parent Teacher Association, or Room Moms, or anything else. I think we've all also seen those same mean girl qualities that just don't go away, or maybe they were picked on in school and now they're going to pick on someone. Who knows?
No, exactly.
Sometimes we just don't know. So, so you've got plenty of projects coming up, and you've got your stuff coming out now. And then, what is something that you haven't written yet that you want to? Like, it's not even on your docket. Like, yeah.
Well, actually, one thing I am about to write in Falling for Another Darcy is a story that's very close to my heart and I've never written, is about the difficulties with fertility. And that's a personal story for me, and it's something that I have always thought I would like to write. And excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. And that's what I'm writing right now. I've been plotting and planning it, and I will be starting to write that when school goes back.
Okay.
Back in February. So so that's, I think, to answer your question, really, most of the books I write are around finding love.
Yes.
This one is finding love in a different way, I guess. This is
sure.
So if you've read the synopsis for it, the blurb for it, the couple has some difficulties in conceiving. So, but there can be humor in that as well as some sadness, and that's what I intend to write with that. And I think it's going to be a cathartic story for me as well as challenging. So, and I need to strike that balance between making it light, but also realizing this is a deeply serious subject matter for many people, and it will resonate with some readers. A lot of readers that won't at all. Most people have no trouble in this department, whereas we did. So so that.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that do, and I think that finding some, I guess, connection in all of it is helpful, for sure. Because we all know. I mean, I've had 2 miscarriages, and it's tough, and we all know when we're going through it that we're not the only ones. But man, it sure feels like it at the time. So
it really does, particularly when you're surrounded by friends and family who have children, and it's been a breeze for them, and that's how it feels, right? It not necessarily has been. Yeah, it can feel very lonely to go through that whole process, for sure.
Absolutely. So I look forward. I look forward to. I look forward to reading that because along with all the other stuff of yours I haven't read yet. I'm definitely going to be busy because I'm really looking forward to seeing what you put together. You're coming at it from a really lovely. What's the word I'm trying to think of? A really lovely, kind, and informative place. And that's a big deal. That will really help a lot of people.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And I do hope that it comes across that way. I don't want to say too much more about it at this time.
Sure.
But it's a very personal thing. And as I said to some writer friends recently, it feels like the story I meant to write, and I've been waiting to write. Yeah.
And isn't that why we do it? Because that story just has to be told. We've got to get it out there.
Yeah. And I think, as you kindly shared just now, a personal detail about, having had a couple of miscarriages, I think a lot of women do. I certainly have. And a lot of women have really struggled with that, as we said, but also my husband and I ended up adopting. So we had years of struggles with this, and in that time, every single person I knew who wanted to have a child, at least one, if not 4. So that's how long it all took. And I now, with the family I have now, I don't regret any of it because I cannot imagine not having my family. And it's been a very difficult road that's ended up in a wonderful place. And that is how I want to write the story, that there are many ways to have a family, and it's not necessarily the vanilla, everyday way that most people do.
Right,
I guess
right.
is probably the way to put it. Yeah,
and
love,
process,
and what makes a
sure.
family is love.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, we adopted 2 children. We had 2 biological children, and so it was definitely a process for sure. And but it's just taking it day by day sometimes.
You can relate
Yeah.
to this more than most. So
yeah, it's a lot. So but please come back and talk to us when you have that done. I want to hear more about it.
I would love to. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely.
This has been really fun. It's been really great to talk to you.
I'm so glad. Oh, cool. Well, I am going to go read something today because I am so looking forward to it. So if you're out there, thank you so much for listening. This has been Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio. We've talked to Kate O'Keefe. She is the author of the Love Manor romantic comedy series, and she's also got an anthology coming out with 13 other authors. It comes out next month. If you order it now before February 16th, it's 99 cents. So 13 short stories for $1, not too shabby. And she will be back this year, I promise you. And if you want to reach out to her, she's at her website, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, BookBub, Goodreads, and Amazon. All the links and the link for the books are in the write-up of the show. So thank you so much for staying with us, and keep on reading.
This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions. www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe, and welcome to our circle.